about a good evening at all, actually. That is a pretty terrible one.
Hello everyone, this is Mark here. I'm sorry that we appear to have a bit of a streaming problem. Just bear with me one moment and we'll get underway.
We're here to remember our friend Richard McAdam Advocacy.
Nobody like put on their big boy pants.
Although he looked the part, he was anything but a regular guy.
All the more important that our support stays constant.
A fighter for justice, a voice for the voiceless.
I got something to say about the Seventh Circuit.
Anyone can see the passion beaming from his eyes. Today we give thanks to our friend Richard McAdam. Advocacy.
Good day.
Some gauge a success by how much you can cash in.
Eric Jose deserves so much credit.
Another way to gauge success is whether you find and live your passion.
He took it to a whole different level.
For those of us that knew Richard, we saw he lived that every day. Never afraid to go where he had not been. Always eager. Always had something to say. We will miss our friend, Richard McAdam.
I guess you can probably see over there here on the shirt. Today we're talking about the movie.
I also wanted to say what you're doing is really important.
People can have different opinions of what happened. And it is possible to have differences in opinion, but to still argue or to discuss intelligently.
Some people think you need to be a millionaire or a superstar.
Hi everyone, I'm sorry the audio for that wonderful piece of music from Stacey is not that great. It's unfortunately the bandwidth in my little country home here is not handling that broadcast very well. So thank you so much. Can I presume you can hear me okay? And thank you for taking the time to join us today. Today is the anniversary of the passing of our dear friend Richard McAdam, probably the most profound justice fighter I've ever met, and had the pleasure of spending a lot of time with, and who I called a dear friend, and very sad that he's not around, although I'm sure it's true for everyone that even though he's not physically with us, there's very much the man that Richard was inside us all, and doing amazing things in inspiring us to keep on going with matters pursuant to the pursuit of justice, especially for those who are least able to fight for themselves. So again, welcome to this short broadcast today. The purpose of the broadcast is to announce the winners of our scholarships. As you would know from last year and earlier this year, arising out of Richard's passing was the creation of a not-for-profit organisation called the Richard McAdam Advocacy Foundation. It's been set up by Richard's aunt and uncle, Shari and Greg, who I'm going to bring on the screen in a moment and to talk to you. And I'm involved myself. And we've been raising money over the course of the last, I guess, 5 or 6 months to fund our scholarships. And we're in the position of issuing 2 scholarships for this year. There may be more later in the year, but for now we have 2. So I'm just going to bring into the picture. Here's Shari and Greg. Welcome to you both. Thank you for participating today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm with that one.
Oh, we just need some sound for you guys. Oh no, that might be it.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, Shari.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
I can see you, of course, but I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can.
You can. Yes. Okay, so I'm not sure why you're silent at your end, but let's just bear with me. Maybe I'm doing something here.
Huh? Like, that's right, the only way you can hear me.
I'm not that great at this technology game, as you can tell. So let's have a go here. One moment. How about now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, and I can hear you. Maybe everyone else was hearing you, but not me. So forgive me. So they're going, what's that Hodnot guy doing, right? So anyway, good to speak with you. So I'll just start again. So welcome to Shari and Greg, and I know it's a very sort of challenging day for you because it's the anniversary of Richard's passing, and I just wanted to perhaps ask you to reflect on things, if you might, for the last 12 months and how things have been for you and Greg. And I notice you're sitting there in the studio, so which is quite lovely. So perhaps you'd like to give us your thoughts on how you're feeling a year down the track.
I was good until you played the intro. Of course I miss him. It's been a year. You know, so you have good days and bad days, and I think the good part for me is that we're able to keep the message going. So I'm very excited about the scholarships. And yeah, it's just rough. I guess yesterday I started feeling a little cruddy or sad, I suppose. And we were cooking in the kitchen and keeping ourselves busy, and you know, I don't know. It gets better. Only time can heal it, right?
Absolutely. So, and I think it permeates us all anyway, in terms of he's sort of the memories of Richard. I mean, he's too young not to be with us, but the memories of him are so overpowering that they really do help underwrite, you know, the sadness that of not having him around. So, and Richard's very dear and close friend Paul Capaldi has been broadcasting a number of Richard's past videos in recent times, and it's interesting for me because when I listen to those videos, even though they're, you know, a piece of history, they're so profound. You don't realize how significant and the scope and the body of the work that Richard did was until he's not around producing more. So it's a wonderful legacies that he's left in all of us. I'm sure most people who are involved in particularly the Making a Murderer storyline, which wasn't Richard's only interest, of course, but would have some level of their enthusiasm and genesis for that cause through Richard. I know that's certainly the case when it comes to myself. So, Greg, I know you're... Yeah, sorry, Shari. Go ahead.
I said Richard would be very proud that everybody is still carrying it on. You know, like all the different, everybody's still there. And so for me, I don't watch a lot of it. I tune in to bits and pieces to kind of see how everybody's doing, and I go back out. But I think that's great because you guys are still fighting for Stephen, and Brendan. I always get his name wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's sort of like, well, we're fighting for Stephen and Brendan and other causes because it's right to fight. But the enthusiasm and the courage and the willingness to get out there and speak about these things definitely comes from the work of Richard, and the fact that he's still influencing us today, and will continue to do so, is a wonderful testament to who he was as a man, and his passion for things that needed an advocate. So, Greg, I know you're listening in there on that phone, so because of some technology, I know you're not talking to your local bookmaker, putting a bet on race 5 at I don't know, Anaheim or somewhere.
Los Alamitos.
Oh, right. So I just thought I'd ask you to reflect on the last year. I know, Richard's loss is a big thing for you too, of course. So perhaps you could give us your thoughts.
Well, we have a real big indicator in our house as far as the remodel went, because we hung the big beam the day that Richard passed.
Mm-hmm.
We had a whole crew here ready to go, and
I can hear you, Greg, even without that.
Everything kind of came to a screeching halt. Not kind of, it did, and everybody rallied, and for such a bad time, it was a good reaction by a lot of our friends and family.
Yeah.
And then we continued today, and I said Richard wouldn't want us to stop. We got to keep going.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We did. It still touches me from time to time, to where I still have a hard time realizing that he's gone, because there's little things that happen inside the house, and Sherry will say, "There's Richard talking to us. You got to go this way." So,
yeah.
It's
I'm in a studio every day. Like, I work now out of a studio.
Right.
And that's a big change. I didn't even want to do it. And now I run all my groups and stuff online on Zoom, and it's just strange to realize how much I work here. I don't work in my office anymore. I work in Richard's office.
Yeah.
So I always walk in here and say, "All right, Rich, let's get this done."
Well, I'm surprised you're not, the wizard of technology. So since you're in his. Yeah.
I can barely turn on Zoom and find a background.
Right. Yeah. My skill set is, it's all right, but it's not great. But we managed to bungle through anyway. So Richard certainly took that technology thing to another level for most of us newbies. He certainly had a great skill at getting it all together. So I much admired that part of his work.
Me too.
As we know, and as I mentioned before, we started the Richard McAdam Advocacy Foundation after evolving it late last year, and I officially launched it. I think it was in January of this year, if I've got my timeline right. Can I just, before we talk about the scholarships and what they're about and the winners of those scholarships, Shari, could I just ask you what the existence of the foundation means to you as Richard's aunt?
Oh boy, I just want to be able to keep people's voices out there, and to be able to carry it on with his name and share that with other people. It just means, I don't know. I want it. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what?
I want to be able to.
I can explain that better for you than you can.
Go for it.
Well, yeah, I don't need the whole thing. All I need is the mic. So, originally, what Sherry thought was, we have got to do something to where Richard's work did not go in vain, and it keeps going. That was the main thing. And of course, we all know that Making a Murder was how he got involved. Like you said, Mark, he had his fingers in so many things. that it was really interesting to see how he, as a regular citizen, could look at things and go through the files and say, wait a second, something's not making sense here. We got to figure out what's going on. And and so that's the legacy that she's talking about of never say die, just keep going and go.
Never give up.
Yeah, until that fateful day. And it will happen. And that's, that is what what Sherry was looking for in the living memory of Richard McAdam to keep the fight.
And don't forget how hard he fought.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
It was his whole life. He was consumed with, well, what do you call it? Freedom?
Mm-hmm.
The rights for others?
Well, yeah. I mean, not so to speak, but yes.
And
To
so
where,
I just didn't want to see that die. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And his enthusiasm for a video audio moment was second to none.
Oh,
I remember a few times I was coming across to Wisconsin and I'd be flying through LA and I'd have a little layover for a few hours and Richard would come out to the airport at Los Angeles airport there and pick me up at some God knows what hour, 7 a.m. or something, and throw me in his truck and we go round to some greasy spoon diner with after 14 hours in a plane, and then out would come the camera, right? I'm supposed to look my best, right? And what do you think about this? So yeah, he had a real skill for just getting there. He had in his head the right way to choose a moment, and I really admired that about him. That he, a GoPro or whatever the device he had was never far away. So, yeah. So.
do you remember when they first shut everything down? So I was talking to Rich. I said, you should go video the beach, where you work, and show everybody. So he did, and I don't know, that damn video lasted, sorry about that, like 2 hours. And I'm like, Rich, that was a great video, but I'm thinking like 15 minutes would have been great.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, man. But his passion, that was such his passion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also admired how he would come rushing home from work on days, put on, depending on the moment, and he knew when to choose the moment. He'd put on his, best shirt and tie and, slick back the hair and get his papers ready. And, he might be reading some court brief or something and have this and that and away go, It was like, how are you surviving this? It was really quite the committed character. So it's and he was the same when he came out to Australia, that's another story in its own right, which I won't go through right now, except to say that you knew Richard McAdam was in Australia when he came. So yeah, I think he was pretty impressed that I found him some Dr. Pepper while I was here. So too. So
Yes.
so I'd like to move on, if I might, just to the foundation scholarship. So one of the big elements, as we all know, is the scholarship. So the goal, to pick up on what Shari had to say, the goal was to create legacies of Richard's work through encouraging others to have a public voice. And we launched the scholarships as part of the Richard McAdam Advocacy Foundation to provide a modest degree of assistance to successful candidates to assist them in having a public voice. And that assistance takes the form of broadcasting equipment, cameras, green screens, lighting, microphones and so on, along with mentoring support to help those people in areas where they may need assistance. It could just be in presentation language, it could be in marketing, it could be in technology, a whole range of things, of which within our broader community we have a fairly wide range of skills that we can impart upon new people into this area, even if only to make them feel comfortable that they've got people they can call upon. So we embarked upon the process of seeking successful candidates, and we interviewed some recently and selected two, and I'm going to introduce those to you right now. So the first of those, which I'm just going to add into the picture here, is Sam Colazo. Have I got the pronunciation of your surname right, Sam? Oops, I've got to get your. There we
Yeah,
go, Sam.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Welcome, Sam.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you so much for participating and putting your name forward for the scholarships. Sam, you're a resident of California as well, which is quite apt given that's where Richard is from. And I just wanted to take a moment to ask you a few basic questions, and then we've been speaking for a while now, and obviously you've listened to the sorts of things that we were chatting about with Shari and Greg just now. Could I just ask you, Sam, could you just give us and the people listening here an outline as to what motivated you to want to apply for the scholarship?
Just a different number of things. Give me one moment, please. Just a different number of things. I think that anybody that is willing to stand up for others, it's inspiring. I've always felt that I had a background story that I could tell that would, hopefully inspire, one person. If that's all I can do, then, and what I took from Richard's approach was, I may not personally, um, discuss, wrongful incarceration, right? Um, but it's to inspire those that do want to say something to stand up and say something, right? And so I submitted my submission application, because I think the time is now. I think the world is in a place that it just needs the people of this entire world to come together. Help each other, love, spread the peace, because we all need it.
Yes. Yeah, it's important. It's important for everyone to understand that whilst a lot of Richard's work was to do with wrongful convictions, the scholarships are about a public voice. It doesn't have to necessarily be focused on criminal justice matters or matters related to that. It can be about any public matter that's worthy of having a voice. And what we're after are candidates who have a considered and respectful voice, one that gives out their views and their message based on good research and respecting the views of others. We're not at all looking for people just to rave on and vent, if you like. So Sam, so for you personally, if I could ask you personally, are there particular areas that you have an interest in?
I'm kind of open to everything. I think a big issue that we have in today's world is just the lack of exposure to different people. I think when you're exposed to different people, it allows you to understand different perspectives, different, you don't have to travel to a certain part of the world to understand what they've gone through or to what, they're currently going through. It's local, they're here in our communities, they're here in our neighborhoods. You got to just go out and talk to people. Me in particular, I come from a really, I don't want to go too far into it, but I grew up with neither of my biological parents. I was told that I was not going to live long because I was born with, with drugs in my system. I was told that if I did live, there'd be some disability to me physically, and I beat the odds. I fell into a hard addiction probably right out of high school. For 13 years, and I felt like the whole world came crashing down on me. And at some point, you got to like stand up and take accountability for your life. You have to, or else the world's just going to take it for you. And I think For me, I do want to go out and I do want to talk to those that have kind of a similar story to me. Grew up without either parent. Battled addiction. But not only just that, I do want to kind of just be the bridge to different people, for certain communities.
Yeah, yeah, that's wonderful, and we're really appreciative of you applying, and we're very happy that we've got you to select as a successful candidate, and looking forward to working with you over the next 12 months and beyond. As we've said to you directly, but also on this public forum, it's very important for us, for you to know that we're here to support you throughout this journey. So anything that we can assist you with, we will be doing that.
Awesome.
I'd like to now introduce our second successful candidate, and I'll bring him to the screen. Just a moment. Jeff, where are you, Jeff? You were there a moment ago, and now you're just a image. And I'll take you back out and try to bring you back in. Here we go, add to stream. Actually, I might remove that one and add this one. Oh. That's something going wrong there. Jeff, when I take you out of the stream, I can see you in the background. And I'm not sure what I'm not sure why. Now, all I have for you now is this little white man in the little dot. So,
Oh man.
His camera might be off.
Jeff, I can't hear you. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm going to take you back out again. And Shari, you might do me a favor if I could ask you, whilst I'm playing with to try to find Jeff back again, you might have some questions you might like to ask Sam, and that way we've got a conversation. Oh, I've got Jeff back again. Just a second, see if I can get him now. Jeff, can you hear me, Jeff? I'm not. Oh, there we go. There's a picture. I don't know whether we have a broadband issue here or we can see your picture, Jeff, but you're frozen, and that shouldn't be the case given where you're from. There we go. You're there. You're definitely there. So, what shall I do, ladies and gentlemen? Yep.
Well, if you cancel mine, will that give you more bandwidth on him?
Let me see. I'll try. Kick from studio. Okay, Jeff, can you hear me? I'm not.
It's broke up.
He's just frozen.
He's frozen.
I think that's
what he's saying.
What I might do, if you don't mind, Shari and Greg, and Sam, I might take you out of the stream just for a second. See if that improves the stream from Jeff. Just a second. I stay where you are, but I'll just. Jeff, you're still Mr. Frozen Man. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. Let me see.
Try to go out and come.
Yes, that might be a good idea, Jeff. If you could just go out and try to come back in again. My apologies to everyone listening on the chat for this little delay. So Jeff, you just leave the chat. I'll bring back in everyone else for now, so you're not looking at just at my ugly head. So so yeah, well, I'll give you a little bit of background to Jeff. I'll get to Jeff to introduce himself in due course. Jeff has an interesting background. He does already have some broadcasting experience, and but I don't want to steal his thunder by talking about what he's going to talk about. And Jeff's actually located in Hawaii, so that's why it seemed contradictory that he was frozen. But anyway, so hopefully he'll be back online. Yes, I see Alice is saying that we might get Jeff to turn off his camera and we'll just go with his audio. That might be a good idea, Alice. Thank you for that. And yes, Mystic Jinx will be patient. So hopefully we'll have Jeff back online in a moment. So maybe what I might like to do while we're just waiting for Jeff is to reiterate the important points of advocacy as we see them. Richard McAdam was certainly one of the predominant reasons why I found myself sitting in front, somewhat uncomfortably in front of a camera and talking about matters like this. All too often in life we leave it to others to have their say and just criticize it or ignore it or whatever we do with it. It's important that we do have a say, we do have a thoughtful say, and fortunately through social media, it gives us the opportunity to for more and more people to actually have a public voice. But what comes with that public voice is the obligation to do so responsibly, not recklessly. And unfortunately, there is a lot of reckless commentary goes out there in the social media world, and we're trying to encourage people to avoid that and to make their own thoughtful considerations of matters that are being raised. So Sam, if I could come back to you, one of the things we really liked, and I don't need you nor necessarily want you to go into it. One of the things we really liked about your application is the journey you've been on in your life, both before you knew about it and subsequently. So could I ask you this question? The journey that you have been on to date as a young boy, a young man, and a father, how has that influenced your attitude towards society today?
I think with just everything that I've been through, it's a learning process. It took me 32 years to really learn and understand that what I went through, it happened for me. I, we're all dealt our own cards, and we all make the decisions that we make and how to proceed in life. And I could have easily, been mad at the world. I could have easily had, and I did. I had a lot of hate in my heart, resentment in my heart, just, a lot of disappointment and hurt, and it wasn't doing me any good. I found myself really depressed. Yes, I was a father. Yes, I have two kids. I was working a full-time job, but I was completely depressed, and it was nothing that anybody can do but me, myself. Um, it took, it took, it took my wife telling me that she was going to leave me if things didn't change, if I didn't start making better decisions for myself. Because ultimately, my girls need me. For a person that didn't have their biological parents, it was important to me to be there for my girls. And there were times where I felt like I wasn't doing enough, and it tore me down. It's almost like disappointed in everything that I set out to do. And the decision to just stop drinking alcohol was the life-changing decision. And it was that simple decision that made my marriage 100 times better. It made me a better man. It allowed my friendships to blossom into true friendships because I lost a lot of friends when I decided I was going to stop drinking. And it did hurt because those were friends that I had for 5, 6 years, 7 years, some 12 years, 13 years. And it's life. How do we deal with it? I could have crawled into a ball again and said, oh, I lost all the people that I love. I'm not doing enough for my girls. I'm not doing enough for myself, but I am doing enough. You know what I mean? I was already, what's the word I'm looking for? I was already, set back from birth. I was already told I wasn't going to make it. I was already told that I wasn't going to be a good person in this life. Most people that don't have their biological parents, they don't come out of this tunnel that I came out of. Most of them find destruction, and that's just where they stay. And I was going down that road. It was a lonely road. It was dark. It was really depressing. And through determination, through perseverance, I know and understand what I want in this life. I want to be able to just inspire others. I'm full of love. I'm full of peace. And I just want other people to feel that. You don't have to be mad at the world for every little thing that is out of your control. Um, and you got to just want everything you want in this life, and you just got to go get it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Sam, for that candid expose on the road you've been on, and I'm sure that experience is going to be a big part of your public voice as we move forward. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank
that
you.
with us. I think with a bit of luck we have Jeff back. Jeffrey, how are you?
Yeah, that's right. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
We can.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened, but switched over to a different device, and looks like we have some success here.
Yeah, that's good. Very nice to meet you, Jeff. Hello to you. And perhaps what you could do for us, Jeff, is just to give us a very brief background of yourself, why you thought you would want to make application for the scholarship, and what you're hoping to achieve out of being one of the successful candidates.
Okay, so originally I was involved in a Discord group, and I was told about this potential opportunity after someone had said, you know what, you might be a good fit for this. I hadn't really even known that it existed. I've actually seen quite a few videos of Paul and Mark, and I've been following the Making a Murderer trial or mistrial, whatever, however you want to put it. And my connection to that case is that I'm actually from the area. I'm from Wisconsin. If you really get me talking to people from Wisconsin, I'll start sounding like I'm from Wisconsin. And so that's how I got interested in that. That's how I found the scholarship. My background is in education. I lived abroad. I lived in South Korea. I did some work on the radio. I did some other multimedia work. I was an instructor online. A lot of things to say in my past, but pertinent to this discussion, I've always had that sense of knowing what is right and what is wrong. And a lot of times people would tell me that I didn't know what I was talking about. I felt like I was gifted with strong ethics. Beyond what you're taught in school, what's right and what's wrong. I think one of the things in the future that I would like to talk about is advanced ethics in our discourse. I want to talk about how information is disseminated, and how we need to be very careful about how we look at information. One of the things I'd like to do is try to educate people on how to go to the source, how to find source information, always taking it from second hand or third hand. We're not going to the scholarly articles. And so I think one of the barriers that I would like to break down is helping people being able to find and analyze data and research at a higher level, so we don't have to take people's word for it. So we can cross-check people's information. And so strengthening that, I think, goes a long way in social discourse. That's one of the things, broadly speaking, that I would like to accomplish. I think through current events or things that are important to me, is a stepping stone for that, is a stepping stone to talk about advanced ethics, to talk about how to move the conversation forward, to how to have a better discourse in the way we discuss everything we discuss. That's one of my goals, is to try to right the ship, because I feel like our public discourse is kind of going off the rails, and it's really easy to find your set of people that you agree with and stick with that. And that's all you need. And so that's one of my main concepts of moving forward.
Yes, and you and I had a discussion as part of the application process about the general concept of people in public with a public voice, that the problem with those who act in bad faith, and the implications that has, the importance of, in anything that we do, whether it's our everyday lives, this goes to your ethics issue, that we act in good faith. So keeping people accountable, not for the sake of just being, a watchdog, but because it's the right thing to do, is a very important part of having a public voice. And so when we make assertions or statements, we not only should be making sure they're founded in good research and provable data, but also that we keep others accountable by ensuring that the listeners have the ability to attest the veracity of what's being said or not. So Jeff, we're very grateful to have you as our one of our 2 inaugural scholarship winners, and I know Shari and Greg and myself and are really looking forward to working with you over the course of the next 12 months and beyond. I did introduce you earlier when you weren't on screen, because I knew you were originally from Wisconsin, but of course you made a liar out of me, because I was telling them that you were in Hawaii at the time, which is correct me if I'm wrong, that's true. Where you are now, right? So,
no, that's where I am now. Yes. Yeah. I first moved to Hawaii after university in 2007. Didn't last long, ran out of money, ended up teaching in South Korea, stayed there for 8 years when I only planned on being there for 1. So you know how things change, life changes. I was on my way to Los Angeles to become a filmmaker, and I ended up becoming an academic. So, that doesn't mean that I'm not ever going to make a film, but this life track has taken me a little different venue, I guess you could say, in a different direction.
Yes. Right? Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to all of you. Basically, coming as somewhat of an outsider, I said I've seen your videos. I'm familiar with some of the faces that I have been on your videos and your discussions, and I just think it's really touching to see that there are people that want to continue to do the work and identifying the loss and saying, you know what, we can't let this be a loss. We have to turn a negative into a positive, and that's really touching to me. Not only as a scholarship participant, but just someone who cares about good work being continued, and cares about legacy. And something that I would consider in the future is continuing to help people and to pull people up and help them with their channels or whatever assistance I can do. So in the future, I just want to say that I'm also looking towards those opportunities to help other people as well.
Thank you very much, Jeff. That's most appreciated. I'm sure we'll call upon those skills, as we will with Sam. Sam, I'll come back to you in a moment, Sam. To Greg and Shari, did you have any comments or thoughts you wanted to make directed towards Jeff's circumstances?
Just beware, Jeff, because you now have a whole new man family, and they will all be watching you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And they'll definitely call you out if you're ever wrong.
Well, I hope not to be wrong, but I expect to be called out in the kindest of fashion.
Yeah.
Have you-
Well,
Some of the Bam Bam, maybe. You gotta have tough skin around here, Jeff.
Well, we'll see how I can do. I guess I got to thicken up a little bit.
I think you'll
Yeah.
be fine.
remember, there's always that guy looking over your shoulder, like he is right now
There
for
you
me.
go.
Well, I would like to say that I am part dude. The Big Lebowski. Was that how he got the name the Dude? Is that
Yes.
why people call him
I
the Dude?
think so. Yes,
Oh,
I think
yes.
Where it started.
Paul Capaldi is probably responsible.
I
for
do
that.
want you to know that I am part dude. The Big Lebowski was one of my favorite movies, and I will continue the legacy of Dude.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well,
Sam,
we're excited.
Sam, could I just ask you if you have a few final words you'd like to say? Oops, Sam. I'm not hearing you, Sam.
Can you guys hear me?
There we go. Yes, we are now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, other than thank you for this opportunity. I'm grateful for this. I'm really humbled that you guys decided on me as a final recipient of this scholarship. Greg and Sherry, I know today is also the anniversary of your son, or not son, but your nephew. And my goal is to continue what he started, was to be the public voice for those that don't either can't stand for themselves or can't fight for themselves. I've been fighting my whole life, and I'm willing to fight for everyone around me. You know, if I could just finish with just this quote that one of my favorite people of all time, Kobe Bryant, the late great, he said, "The most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to do." And that's my goal. Not everybody wants to be a celebrity. Not everyone wants to be, at the top. People want to be, just a chef. People want to be, somebody that just sews clothes, makes clothes. And I think I want to help those. Well, I know I want to help those people just identify their strengths and just get them to their goal.
Yeah, they're wonderful sentiments, Sam. Thanks to both you and Jeff. I know I speak on behalf of Shari and Greg when I say that we're very, very excited about having you two as our inaugural candidates, and we're looking forward to working with you over the year. Shari, did you have any final things you would like to say?
No, I'm good. I'm just really excited to have you guys on board, and I wish you the best of luck, and I can't wait to be in your comments when you're up there talking.
Thank you.
So, at the risk of, because I'm such a technology whiz, I'm going to end this broadcast by trying to keep on playing the video that I started playing somewhat interruptedly at the beginning. To all of you here on the screen here, just stay on board, even though when I eventually end the broadcast, we'll still be here and we can have a little off-screen chat just briefly. But to everyone who took the time to come in and listen to today's broadcast, I appreciate you making that effort. Our thoughts are with Richard today, and it's a really good thought, actually. As sad as it is that he's not with us, his legacy is with us forever, so we're very grateful for that. Thank you again for participating. I'm just going to now hopefully drive this piece of music, and so just bear with me. Oh, that's not the right piece of song. Let me stop that.
It's all right. The other one makes me cry.
I might, at the risk of making things worse, I might just say goodbye to you all and thank you again for your time, and we'll talk again soon. And thank you for Stacey for allowing me to use his music, and and I apologise again for the little technology hitches from time to time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's already Monday morning here in Australia, so
Oh, wow.
the week started. All the best to you all.
Thank
Bye,
you guys.
guys. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye bye.